We had a great time in our breakouts this morning.
Good morning, everyone. So I'm just curious, because this is our last event of the year. If you would just throw in the chat where you're watching us from, that would be awesome. I know we had the Tam from the UK is on. Again, hi, how are you? I can't lie, Tracy and I love to say that we've gone international.
And we do say, no, everything we do from now on, we'll make sure there's an online portion to it so people can watch from wherever they are. So we have Utah and Flower Mound and Houston.
Syracuse, New York.
McKinney, those in the neighborhood, some in the neighborhood too as well. Well, it's 8 o'clock, so let's go ahead and get started. Good morning and welcome everybody. So happy you're here this morning. My name is Tracy Irby and I'm the director at the Center for Women Entrepreneurs. With us today is Darlisa Stinyard. She is our program director. So if you aren't familiar with us, the Center for Women Entrepreneurs was funded in 2015 just to help promote women entrepreneurs anywhere in the state of Texas. And we do that through small business advising, networking and training events like this one, funding. We do many different types of grant funding, and we do research into women entrepreneurs and women in the workplace. So there's always something for everybody here. Our services are free. We are part of the larger Jane Nelson Institute for Women's Leadership. Also under that is the Center for Women in Politics and Public Policy and the Center for Student Leadership. The Jane Nelson is dedicated to preparing women to take on successful roles in business and public service to ensure women have the education to establish careers as successful C-suite executives, the skills for building entrepreneurial businesses, and the framework to run for public office. So we're happy all of you are here. Please feel free to put your information in the chat box. We try to always tell people how to save the chat at the end of this because you can make a lot of great connections. So we are going to get started. If you have any questions, you can send them to Darlisa. And I am more than thrilled to introduce our speaker for today. So we have Darlisa Diltz with us. She is best known in the community for her eco-systematic approach to entrepreneurship, strategic planning, and professional empowerment. Darlisa Diltz has blazed the trail of entrepreneurship with passion and force. Owner of the first for-profit business service organization in the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex with a focus on entrepreneur education, Darlisa serves as the managing director for the North Texas Entrepreneur Education and Training Center and recently opened the first flexible workspace and business center in North Richland Hills called the Center North Tex or NTX. In 2021, Darlisa was named Startup Evangilist of the Year by the Dallas Entrepreneur Network, with over 850 entrepreneurs served, 102 program graduates, and 65 supported startups. Darlisa is looking forward to 2022 and the opportunity to connect and grow in the entrepreneur community. Darlisa, we're glad you're here today. Welcome.
Thank you guys so much for having me. This is absolutely an honor to be on this platform with you guys. I absolutely love Texas Women's University and everything that the Center for Women Entrepreneurs is doing. You guys are very blessed to be in this company this morning. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And thank you guys so much for having me on this morning. I always get like chill bumps when I hear that, because it's like, is that me? Is that who they're talking about? But yes, I'm Darlisa Diltz, as Tracy mentioned, Managing Director for the North Texas Entrepreneur Training Center and the recent owner of the Center North Texas, the flexible workspace for entrepreneurs in North Richland Hills. So amazing to see people from all over the world joining in this morning, Facebook world, Zoom world. So it's December, like the end of the year. How many of you guys are feeling the brunt? Like, are you like, oh my goodness, it's the end of the year. Oh my goodness, we're going into 2022. After everything that has happened over the past 2 years, it just seems like I blinked and now we're into almost 2022. But, you know, hey, that's a good thing. The world is reopening. We're getting back acclimated. So I'm pretty excited about that. So this morning, I want to share with you guys a little bit about business planning versus business strategy. And if you haven't noticed already, I'm kind of high energy. It is really early in the morning, and it's like, you have to speak at 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay, how many pots of coffee do we have on? So humor me, if you will, as we talk a little bit about this. And my goal for today is to offer a change in how you think about business planning. So hopefully it is a good takeaway, and it takes away some of those pressures that we tend to think about as we hear the word business planning. So this morning we're going to talk about entitled, if you will. It's more than a plan, it's a strategy. So our session objectives will be to discuss the importance of business planning, to establish a framework of a strategic plan, and to introduce the idea of what I like to call a business GPS. So I gotta have energy. So sometimes I'll ask you guys to give me some reaction bubbles, give me some hand signals, because we're gonna rock this thing this morning, okay? All right. So how many of you guys, show of reactions, when you hear the term business plan, this is your feeling? Oh my gosh. I gotta write a business plan? Are you kidding me? And it sounds good in theory, right? Because yes, we do need a business plan. But I'm not gonna lie, even for me, the whole idea of it, it just makes me want to take a nap, right? Because there's so many components, there's so many things that you have to think about. And especially as a new business owner, it's overwhelming, right? Well, I'd like to give you some things this morning to help you kind of ease some of those tensions and still form a very, very good business plan and or strategy. So as an entrepreneur, what are some of the common hurdles? And I'm going to list a few here, but if you could put some in the chat, what are some of the hurdles that you as an entrepreneur face? So first, I'm going to say for me, I know time. I don't ever seem to have enough time to do anything, especially as a woman. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I have pets, I'm a friend, I'm a daughter, I'm a cousin, you know, you name it. And time is just always one of my hurdles. Next, money. When you are thinking about starting a business or when you are in business, money can be a common hurdle. Resources. We're always looking for resources. And if you are like me, I am a bargain hunter, okay? So you can absolutely give me great resources, and I'm still going to try to look for a more economical way to find it, right? So resources, that is one of the common hurdles. Priorities. So as I talked about time, priorities become a thing. What goes first? What goes second? What are we leaving out? So it is starting to seem like that is a little bit pushed to the side, right? So priorities become a common hurdle. And sometimes a limited network. So again, when that term, you got to write a business plan, you got to write a business plan, all of these things come into play, right? Because you're trying to pull from information, you're trying to decide, when am I going to actually sit down and get this thing cranked out? How am I getting funding to do X, Y, and Z? Who even helps with research? Yada, yada, yada. So all of these things are just popping up out of everywhere. So what is the winning question? How do we overcome them, right? Because we're here, right? We're present. So we have to be overcoming them in some kind of a way. So that's the winning question. How do we overcome all of these different hurdles, right? And when you think about it, as you are building your business, even though it is not a formal, I'm going to sit down and get this done, as you overcome those hurdles, you're building your business, which means you're building your business plan. So it comes to developing your strategy, okay? How do you get those hurdles completed? So let's talk about it a little bit. So I like to call it my toolkit of entrepreneurship, right? Because when you think of a handyman, what do they have to use? They have to use their tools. So we're going to pull out our box of tools, and you can call them wrenches, you can call them screwdrivers, you can call them whatever it is that you want. But I want to give you a couple of things to consider as you begin to think about 2022, your business plan, what you're going to do within your business in order to get to that next step. Because while business planning is daunting, it is very, very needed, and it is very effective in order for you to sustain within your business. Now, I am a person that does say you do not need a business plan to get started in business, but you need a business plan to be in business. Does that make sense? So you can be that person that can go out of the gate and you can get things going, like, let's get to it. But I can guarantee you that there will come a point in that business where you come to a stopping point and you're like, what am I doing? Where am I at? Right? So my challenge for you today is to think about business planning in the form of strategy development. As you are working through some of those layers, I'm going to give you a couple of tips so that you can make it more strategic versus, oh, I have to write this business plan. So let's jump into it a little bit. What is the difference? And again, put your thoughts in the chat box. You know, this is just Darlisa-isms that I will share with you today, but I know you guys have some other great ideas as well. So put those in the chat box. So what is the difference as a Darlisa-ism, right? A plan says, hey, here's what I like to do. There's a lot of forecasting. There's a lot of thought put into it. You know, there's some research that goes behind it. And these are things that you will set out to do if all things considered work well, right? However, as a strategy says, here are the steps I'm going to take to get it done, right? So I love chess pieces, right? You have to think about it. You have to consider what the best move is going to be. You have to contemplate. You may make a move and you may think, oh, goodness gracious, why did I do that? What was I thinking, right? But strategy involves a lot more thinking, a lot more situational research, right? Because as with a plan, you're just thinking about it, right? It sounds good. It seems like it's going to be a great idea, but we all know as entrepreneurs, as people in general, life happens, right? So a strategy helps you with being able to be a little more elastic in what it is that you're going to do and have some flexibility so that in that moment, you are able to move according to the surrounding things that are impacting you at that time. So again, as a Darlisa-ism, a plan says, here's what I would like to do, okay? A strategy says, here are the steps I'm going to take to get those things done. Here are a couple of things that I would like for you to consider. And again, these can run simultaneous to business planning and strategy development, okay? So, a couple things to think about. What is your primary result? So in all things and whatever it is that you are contemplating, if it is developing a business, if it is developing a strategy, what is your primary result? What do you want to see happen at the end? Who receives the greatest impact? So in all of these things that you are doing and developing, knowing who's going to receive the greatest impact will help you with some of that planning and some of that goal setting, okay? How does this affect you overall? Because again, when we get into business planning mode, we're excited, we're energized, we're like, yes, I have this thing, this widget, and I am going to conquer the world with this widget and or thing. And then you realize, oh, but wait, first I got to drop my children off at school, and then I have to get to the office, and then I have a report that I have to do for the office, and then yada, 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 right? So while we're excited about this plan that we have put into place, we have to think about how that's going to impact us overall. What means do you currently have to accomplish this, right? Again, plan says, I am going to make $1 million in my first year of business. I am going to service everyone because my product and our service is the absolute best and everyone needs it. But I have $5 in my bank account. I am limited to only working on my business, maybe 30 minutes a day, yada, yada, yada. So you want to really think about what are the means that you have to effectively impact this plan. Don't overthink it, right? That strategy helps you to think through, okay, how do I make this business plan a reality? Who's helping you, right? Yes, everyone on this call, everyone listening, we are superheroes. I believe that 100%. But even superheroes have sidekicks, okay? So don't be afraid to get help in your business plan, in your business strategy. You want to incorporate help. You want to know why? Because everyone needs it, okay? So you want to think about who's going to help you in this plan, okay? Next, how will you be paid? The common thing says if you are not being paid for what you are doing in some realm, okay? Because payment is not always financial, okay? Yes, money pays the bills. However, you can be paid in other means. Is your payment going to be an extension of your network? Is it going to be a connection that you may not have had? Is it going to offer you an opportunity to showcase your product and or service in a different fashion? And of course, is it going to add monetary value? So you want to think about how you will be paid and if that payment is beneficial to what the needs of your business requires. And will it be sufficient? So if you are planning to offer all of these things, but there's no value for you in the end, I didn't tell you this, Tracy told you, not me. You've wasted your time, okay? Okay, fine, I told you. You've wasted your time. So you want to make sure that the payment of whatever that looks like is sufficient for your business needs. Lastly, and this is something that oftentimes business owners don't think about. What is your time frame? So if you have written this beautiful plan, what is your time frame? That strategy will help you to implement steps that you can accomplish these various goals within a certain time frame. So those are just a few things to consider, okay? So in developing this strategy, how do we get started? First and foremost, identify your own hurdles and or opportunities, okay? Pull it out of your head and put it on paper. It can be as simple as a notebook paper, right? I have so many of these around everywhere, but guess what? It pulls it out of my head and it gives me a sense of accountability because when I see it, I'm forced to act on it, whether it is to look at it and move that piece of paper over to the next stack of papers that I need to deal with, or check, let me get this done. So you want to identify your own hurdles and or opportunities. Write a list of possible solutions to those hurdles and or opportunities, right? So as you write them, just think about what some possible solutions may be, okay? So if one of your hurdles is time management, right? Write down some potential options that can help you with time management. Share those thoughts with people that have similar interests. I know a lot of times in business, we are often kind of wondering, oh, well, if I share this information, such and such may steal my business idea, or someone may go before me and do it, and that makes me ineffective. One of the things that I will propose to you today is share it. Share it with those who have similar interests. And the reason for that is because they're going to help you with possibly offering some of those solutions that you may need to overcome some of those challenges and hurdles, right? And we can't take on the whole world. Again, yes, everyone is a superhero, but even superheroes need help. So when you share that information with people, be open to receiving some feedback. Let them help you with understanding some tips, tricks, and best practices, right? And you want to jot those down. You want to have them again in writing in some sort so that you can refer back to it at a later time. And challenge yourself. Commit to rendering at least one of those solutions within a short window of time. So attach some type of a goal setting mechanism, right? If you write down a list of 10 hurdles and or obstacles, give yourself a time frame of when you plan to overcome one of those hurdles. Because true enough, entrepreneurship is tough. I would be remiss if I made it seem like this process was easy, because it's not. However, as long as you commit to rendering at least one of these solutions in a short period of time, before you know it, most of your solutions most of your hurdles have been surpassed, right? But it's putting those steps in place to help you to overcome those hurdles and to get past the things that may be holding you up. And when you think about the term opportunity, that's just saying not now, but in the near future, okay? So for a second, imagine your business as a GPS. Show of hands, reaction buttons, whatever you want to use. How many of you guys are fervent GPS users? You're not going anywhere if that GPS is not on. Let me see some of those reactions. Okay, all right. If you are like me, I like to take a couple risks. I'll do it the first time, I'll put it in, but if I think I kind of know the area, I'm going to try to wing it a little bit, okay? If I can see the general direction, I want to try to feel it out. But for just a couple seconds, think about your business as a GPS. What are some of the things with a GPS that tend to happen? And you could just start popping those in the chat. We're going to talk about some of those here in just a second, but I kind of want to hear from you guys. What are some of those things that when you start to use a GPS, you have to have already in order to get to where it is that you want to go? So imagine your business as a GPS. Take a couple minutes and envision that, or a couple seconds, envision that. So let's talk about that for a little bit. Your business as a GPS. Some of the things that you think about when you are formulating a plan to get to somewhere else, right? First of all, two most important things. You have to have a destination, right? Can't really use a GPS if you don't have a destination. So in your business, think about, what is your destination? Where do you want to go? And even though you may be early stage business, you may have been in business for a while, there's still a destination that you want to get to. Maybe you want to open up another one. Maybe you want to hire employees. Maybe you want to increase your service offerings, whatever the case may be. Think about where you want to go. Then you have to be real with yourself and you have to say, well, where am I now? Because again, with a business GPS or with a GPS, you have to have a location. Where are you starting from? Are you deeply involved and rooted in that thing? Or you're not real sure, this is new territory for you, so you just want the GPS sensors to find where you are. Well, you have to be real with yourself. Where are you right now? So, current location, and that's practical, right? What is the path that you have to take to get to where you want to go? Now, how many of you guys, when you turn on that GPS and you've told yourself, oh, okay, it says 3 miles. This should be fine. And you pop that GPS button on and you're ready to go, and it says 25 minutes. There's traffic along your route. And you're like, oh my goodness, just for 3 miles? Are you kidding me? So I just want to be successful in my business, and you're telling me it's going to take me 2 or 3 years? Are you kidding me? It happens, right? Why? Because there are things that are in place that could be a deterrent to that plan. But that does not mean that you won't get to your destination. So as you are thinking about your business as a GPS, think about some of the alternative routes that you may have to take as part of your business plan, right? So you wrote out a great elaborate forecast, a plan, all of that. But once you hit that get started button, GPS recalculating, right? Because it happens. So one of the questions that I like to ask is, will your business have toll roads? What does that even mean, Darlisa? How can my business have a toll road? Well, guess what? Toll roads say they're going to help you get there faster. But when you hop on that toll road, what do you have to do? You have to pay for it, right? So, yes, in theory, there may be some things that you can do to get to your destination faster. Oh, but trust and believe, it typically comes at a cost. And sometimes even the toll road can be backed up, right? So you want to think about and you want to account for your business toll roads. Are there some additional things that you may have to pay for? And again, payments can be subjective because it can be payment in time. It can be payment in product and or services, meaning you attend a couple of vendor trade shows, you go to networking events, you give out samples of your product and or service, because this is helping you to build that business. This is helping you to strategize how you are bringing additional people into your business fold, right? But that's a part of that business toll road. And then you go on that toll road or the non-toll road. And then what is Texas synonymous for? Construction, right? Oh, are you kidding me? You mean this road is closed? Oh, so now I have to go a whole different route that I was not prepared for, especially if you're like me and you pop the GPS on for a little bit and you think you know where you're going and you shut the GPS off and you realize, right, so this street is closed. Now, what do I do next? So you have to recalibrate, because sometimes in business, you're going to get that bump in the road that will make you have to recalibrate. And you're going to have to find an alternate route. And it's okay. It is totally okay, because I'm pretty sure on that toll, on that road, when that road closes, you don't just stop there and you don't just begin to live at that closed road, right? You don't just say, okay, well, I guess it's not meant for me to make it back home tonight. I'm just gonna give it all up and I'm gonna stay at this closed road. No, you find another way to do it. And that's resilience, right? Something that as an entrepreneur, you have to kind of have in order for you to get through to that next level of your business. Again, traffic. GPS originally said it was only 3 miles away, but there's traffic. So there are other people going in that same direction that you are going. And again, it's okay, but everyone has their own specific destination. So you could be in traffic with someone that is going the exact same direction, but that doesn't mean that they have the same destination. So think about that as you are strategizing and as you are contemplating your business. You may run into traffic, and that's okay. As long as you are fervent in moving forward. You don't get on the highway and just stop, right? You have to keep going. It may be a little slower than what you originally anticipated. And again, that's fine. But you have developed an awareness of where you are, where you're wanting to go. And now you realize that there are some hurdles, there are some things that could potentially get in the way. So I challenge you to create your own business GPS. Think about where you are right now, where you want to go, and add some of those things in the middle that could be stretching that business vision, okay? Think about that for a second. Perception versus reality. When you first start that GPS, it gives you a number. You will reach your destination in XYZ timeframe. But as you begin, it could stretch. Think about ways now how you can eliminate some of those hurdles. All right. I have talked your ears off. Where does this girl come from? It is too early in the morning to be talking about all of this stuff. But I do hope you were able to capture a couple of nuggets. So in summary, be intentional with your strategy. You are developing more than just a business plan. You are developing a strategy of completion of that business plan. Business plan says, here's what I would like to do. Strategy says, here's how I'm going to do it. Business planning is essential. You have to plan your business, but it doesn't have to be daunting. It is something that every business needs. And a plan is nothing without implementation. You can write it down all day long. You can put the directions in that GPS, but until you get in that vehicle to move that thing forward, what good is it, right? So a business plan is nothing without implementation. It's okay to start off slow. Even though we hate it, traffic is okay. Because while you're sitting in traffic, you can think. It gives you an opportunity to slow down, because we all need to slow down sometimes. We don't have to always be in race speed. It's okay to start off slow. And as the Nike slogan says, just do it. I guarantee you, if you try it, you'll like it. Maybe a little frustrating at times, because change is challenging for all of us, but do it. I guarantee you, you'll see results. That being said, what questions do you guys have?
So
Thank you, guys.
Darlisa, that was excellent, excellent, excellent. In fact, I was thinking, is there more? Let's keep going. That was so good. I wanted to get Donna's question in here because she typed it earlier. This was back when you had your things to consider slide.
Okay.
She wanted to know, what tools do you use to set up the process and systems to stay on track and document the steps?
Great question. So I would encourage you to find some type of a CRM. Okay. If you are a task-oriented person, a CRM helps me, right? Also, calendars. Put a task list together. It can be very simple as adding it to a calendar and reminding yourself that this is what needs to be done. There are a lot of apps that you can use. I apologize, I'm not real versed on what those are, but I can do some research and I could pass it back through the Center for Women Entrepreneurs and get that to you guys. But if you are techie, find an app that will keep you accountable. But I do know that CRMs help tremendously, especially as you are growing and developing your business.
So I think it's Imani, and I apologize if I say your name wrong. She made the comment, a business plan does not tell you how to get the money to get started. Cash flow is the first hurdle. But the business plan could do what for that, Darlisa?
The business plan can not only help you think about and put elements in place, but it helps that external person that would potentially give you funding know that you have an understanding about that business. Because think about it, if you go to a random person and you ask them to borrow money, they're going to be like, why would I give you money? But if they know that you have thought this through, they know that you have elements in place that can help you be successful, then they're more inclined to be comfortable with giving you that decision. So writing that business plan does not guarantee funding for you necessarily, but what it does is it offers that layer of confidence to all parties that says, yes, I think this person is a good fit for this type of funding.
And then we had Samantha on Facebook and Marissa on here, both with CRM ?
Client relationship management. So a CRM basically is a system that allows you to see your network, right? So if you were to put a person's name into a database, you can then track what you've done with that person over time. For example, you meet me today, we have coffee. You put my information into your client relationship manager. You can put notes in there that says, Darlisa and I met for coffee on December 14th. She was excited to be up early at 8 o'clock in the morning, going to follow up with her in 2 weeks, okay? That client relationship manager allows you to schedule a meeting for that 2 weeks. You're not thinking about Darlisa again because you're on to the next thing, but that CRM will give you a reminder that, hey, you have a meeting coming up with Darlisa. Here's what you talked about at your last meeting. So it's just a system or a software tool that helps you to keep track of who's coming into your network.
And Darlisa, it's one of those things that you can either choose to take the toll road, so you could pay and have a platform for that, or you could do it yourself, like with an Excel database or something like that, whichever setting up whatever mechanism works for you. Is that correct?
Absolutely. And that's where like the calendar comes into play. Google if you have a Gmail account, Google has a great calendar platform. You can do task lists, you can do all of that kind of stuff, but it's just a way to document what you've done in your process.
So do we have any more questions for Darlisa? I feel like you just really kind of broke it down so easy, and that everybody, much like myself, that we're already in our head developing our strategic plan. So any more questions for Darlisa? Pop them in the chat or pop on. Going once. You have not because you asked not. Going twice.
I had a question.
Go ahead.
I wanted to just ask, I love personal experiences. I think that it's the best thing, or I think we all can take away from something like that. So can you tell us like an experience that you have where this particular GPS, having the GPS for your business, has either brought you out of something or over something? Like how has this affected you?
Great question. So for me, when I first got started in my business, which was the end of 2017, I had this great plan to have these programs. They were in person. You know, we were going to be teaching and training. People were coming to our facility to utilize the building. And then we had a fire. So there was a fire that completely took us out of our space. So while we had developed this plan to have people in the space over and over, they could use the space, we had bookings, yada, yada. The fire happened, shut us out of our space. So we were forced to have to think about how we were going to make this work ongoing. So that was my roadblock, right? But instead of giving up, I reached out to some of my community partners that I had just met, okay? And they had spaces, they had conference rooms, they had classrooms that we could use to still be able to do what it was that we wanted to do. Now, it was kind of toll roadish sometimes because we did have to make some payments and that kind of thing because they are businesses as well. But it actually ended up working out better because we were able to go from just being effective in that one little space. It opened us up to the Metroplex, right? So we were able to offer classes in various areas of the Metroplex versus just in that one spot. Also, I don't think it totally prepared us, but it kind of prepared us for the pandemic a little bit because we weren't as siloed. So when the pandemic hit, we already had an expanded reach. So taking it virtual was easier than what we had originally planned. So we had a plan in place and we thought that was our initial destination, but we had to pivot quickly. And that was before the pandemic happened. So great question. I hope I answered that for you.
Awesome. So we have Tam from our new friend from the UK. She wanted to know, how often do you think the business plan should be updated or worked on once you start trading? Clearly, it's an organic document.
And that's it. It is an organic document. So me personally, again, this is a Darlisa-ism. Your business plan can always be changed. Because my thought is you start that plan in the beginning and you have all these thoughts that you want to put into it. But 6 months down the line, 3 months down the line, you may realize that's not going to work. Why? Because it's perception versus reality. So there's no time frame per se of when your business plan should be updated, because you should be building that business plan as you're building your business. Things are going to ebb and things are going to flow. So once you find those things, make those updates. Your business plan should be elastic. You should be able to stretch it, bring it back, throw it away and pull it back out the can, whatever you want to do. Just don't delete it. But there's no time, I would say, that you have to update it. It should always be updatable.
Okay, thanks, Darlisa.
Yep.
You're welcome.
All
And
right.
thank you for
So
joining us.
yeah, do we have any more questions? All right, so what I'm going to do really quick, so Darlisa, if you could unshare, if you could stop sharing. Okay, so we have a couple of housekeeping things that we want to talk about before everybody leaves. So if you'll just hold tight for a minute, we'll make it really quick. So we are excited to announce that starting January of 2022, we're going to be moving all of our events in person. Now, for those of you that join us virtually, do not fret, because we are still going to have a virtual component. You will still be involved in the same meeting. We will have an online host that will help to facilitate that. So for all of our international friends and our friends beyond like the Denton and DFW border, we have been so extremely blessed to have you this last year that we've had to go virtual, and we love the fact that you are here and want to keep you here. So when you go to Eventbrite to register, you're going to see two kinds of tickets. You're going to see an in-person ticket, and you're going to see an online attendance ticket. So please register in the way that you will attend. And I will tell everybody that regardless of whether you join us in person or virtually, you will continue to get the replay link to your inbox. So that's not going to change. So before I share any more information, what I want to do is do a poll really quick, just to kind of get an idea of what we're looking at as far as whether you would be attending in person or online. So if you could take a few minutes to take that. And while you're doing that, I'm going to continue sharing some more information. So the in-person events, Tracy and I are so excited about this too. We are actually going to have them up here in our brand new renovated classroom at Texas Women's University in the old main building. That provides a little bit of strategic planning on our part. However, we are so excited because it's going to be great. So what you're going to need to do is parking. Parking is going to be, I thought I had the link. So what you'll need to do, and you don't have to take notes because I'm going to send this out in an email. Parking, we are going to pay for your parking, but you're going to have to download this app. It's Park Mobile. You'll download it, you'll put in your information, and I'll give you a hint to include your license plate number. You're going to need that. I don't know about you, but I don't know mine right off the bat. So then when you come to campus, you're going to park in either the visitors parking lot, or you're going to park on the 4th floor of the parking garage, which is off of Oakland. And then once you get into that spot, we're going to send you a code to pay for the parking through your Eventbrite registration. If we don't have the code set up yet, we'll send an email about that after the 1st of the year. So all of our events will be up here. There will be signs, directional signs that will help you get to Old Main Building. I'm not gonna lie, I would wear comfortable shoes to walk to Old Main and then bring your heels with you. Just because you're not parking on the curb and coming right up to the street. So I would wear some comfortable shoes. And it's going to be in our training room. We're going to have hot breakfast starting at 7:30. We're going to have a photo op for you. And we're including our online community in that as well. We're just so excited to have the opportunity to showcase our building and all the hard work that they did up here with all of you. So I think that's it in a nutshell. Tracy?
Oh, well, we also have a golf cart. So we're trying to do everything we can to make this easy as possible for everyone. There may be a few bugs as we start, but we're so excited again to have this coming again, having breakfast, meeting in person. But as we've said, we're definitely keeping the online portion, and we'll work through everything about that with you guys too. And we may have a big poll after our first one in person to see how everything goes. But we're so excited to do that again. And I can't tell you how great it was to have Darlisa on here today. Such great information you brought to us. I mean, so many of the things you say are Darlisa knows here. Those are probably things Tracy says all the time. And so often as business owners, they know the business plan in their head or a lot of that information, but just getting it down on paper. And it's so helpful to you to have that and to look at and to review it. This is National Business Plan Month, so we definitely have to message or, get that message out. The CWE does have a business plan template we use. Live Plan, if anybody's interested, it is free. You can send us an email. Lisa can put an email in there for them and just say you want the business plan, and we'll set you up for free on that. It's just great, again, Darlisa, how clear that was, and just really spoke in a way that really helps people see this and the importance to it. Now, I did have a little giggle at the $1 million the first year, and everyone in the world is the customer. But we're here to help you guys however we can. The chat, is it open for everyone? The chat, I had someone message me that they could not see the 3 dots or the ellipsis. I did not know the official name for the 3 dots that are in there. If you're in the chat box where your name is and go over to the right, there should be 3 dots. If you click on that, it says save chat.
Yeah, if you don't have that option, you might not have an updated version of Zoom, because I know that we make sure on the back end that option is available to you.
Okay, great, because I had someone that it wasn't working for them, so I said that we could save it and send it. So you may want to check your settings as well if you don't have that. Again, thank you everyone so much for being here. Lisa, have you got anything else?
Yes, so I am so excited. So not only are we going to be in person and in our own building, but so our next WomenRISE, it'll be our first event of 2022, is January 11th. And I'm so excited she's on here. She's sneaking in. We have Tamara Payne. She is the CEO and founder of Ensemble Co-working and Pain-Free Consulting. I love that. And she is going to be talking about the power of connection, collaboration, and community. And registration for that is open now. We'll send out an email with more information about the event up here. For those of you that attend virtually, nothing changes for you. You're still going to get the same emails. You're going to still get the Zoom link. You guys are going to just roll like you have been for the last year and some months. For those of you that'll be attending in person, it'll be a little bit different, but we're going to guide you every step of the way. So excited to have Tamara on. Any last minute things, Tracy?
That is all I have. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Darlisa, again, thank you for a wonderful presentation. Everybody have a great day. And Lisa, are you going to get us ready then for those who want a little more networking?
Yes, whoever asked about, I think it was Mel, if you are interested in the business plan, send an email to cwe@twu.edu and request that so that we can get that to you. So let me take us off of live stream